Welcome back to another rendition of Floral Foolishness.
Sports.
Hey, he's here. And that means it's Island time, baby, on Floral Foolishness, the worldwide leader of dumbass sports news.
And Olympic women's basketball coverage.
I can most certainly guarantee we're not that right now, but that's okay. We're going to talk about all sorts of topics here on this fun little show inside and out of the world of sports, no matter how fucked up they are. Let's just call a spade here, all while rocking some crunchy island wear. So, with that, as always, we got myself. I'm Stoczy. He's the Dragon Wrangler, Jeremy Phelps. Let's start off opening statements. What's on your mind?
You remember back when we were kids and the Jetsons was on, and George would like park at work, and he basically had his car become a briefcase,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd like take his briefcase in, and then he'd leave every day, and it was good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Honda fucking makes that now. It's not a car. It's a motorized scooter, but it's called the Motor Compacto. It goes for $995. If you look at it, it literally becomes a briefcase. You just pick it up, take it into your work, your place of profession, walk out, and then boom, briefcase scooter, motherfucker. Next thing you know, you're driving away. The Jetsons is real. The future is real. I don't even know what the world is now. Thanks, Honda, for just blowing my mind.
Wow. I mean, way to take a really cool idea from the Jetsons and just hipsterize it. Thanks, Honda.
Basically, yeah. It's
Where did
essentially
you
what
see
Honda did.
these?
At a Honda dealer, weirdly enough. They had like they didn't have one on the lot, but they had like a big sign of like the future is now motor compacto. I looked at it and I was like, wow, that thing looks really dumb. It looks like a briefcase. And then I walked over to it and I went to it on the internet and I was like, whoa, this thing is a briefcase. All right.
Oh my God.
So for the low,
Wow.
low price of $1,000, you can literally drive around on a briefcase. You know how at the airport now they have like the suitcases that dudes will drive around on because they get all the women.
Oh, yeah.
This basically looks like a cheaper version of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a motorized scooter?
Motor scooter, motor compacto. It's also very compact, as you can tell from the name.
Wow. Oh my God. I mean, just imagine you're like interviewing some newbie for a fucking job. And then it's like, hey, let's go to lunch, kid. And then you walk out of the building and he busts out his briefcase. And he just goes, blam, moto, or some shit like that and just scoots off.
Sir, I didn't realize I was interviewing you for my job.
Oh, yeah. Just go and hit him with your fucking Cybertruck after that. Holy shit.
Dude, how long until Elon gets that idea and he makes the moto truck like a briefcase, just turns into like a giant brick? Oh, wait, he's already done that. It's Cybertruck version one.
He just hasn't gotten the briefcase part of that whole situation down
It's going to be
just
just a
yet.
normal Cybertruck, but it's going to have just a handle on the top.
Yeah. What, you can't like carry a multi-ton vehicle? Come on, did you even lift, bro?
You
What
can
is
store
this?
so many things. It's bigger than a normal suitcase. Think of a normal suitcase. You can hold like four more things in this.
Yeah. Even though the bed of the truck, you can't even put a bicycle back there, so that's fun.
Honestly, we say all the time we need to get hired to do other stuff. We should probably just be hired to do marketing for Tesla and Elon because at the end of the day, how do you take all these broken down Cybertrucks that don't work? You market it as the cyber case. Next thing you know, dudes are like, whoa, Elon's making briefcases now? I got to get me one of these. And it's just a Cybertruck that doesn't work because it went through a drive-through or a car wash and just got a handle on top. It's like not
Mm-hmm.
even like on there well, like stapled on.
Mm-hmm. You remember when he said these things were not going to go for more than what was it, $31,000?
Yep.
You remember that?
Now they're what,
Yeah.
200K, give or take? A little more, a little less.
The cheapest one is over six figures. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's really cool. That's
Yep.
really cool.
I don't
More
know if
ex-
I'd pay 31K for a Cybertruck, period, because you're still going to get broken down.
Yeah, I think what he meant was, that's all of our R&D is $31,000. That's all we're putting into this.
No, what he meant was if it's not under the recall, it's going to cost you 31K to replace your windshield wiper motor.
Oh, it's going to cost more than that. You got to buy a whole new truck. A whole new fucking truck. Oh boy. Yeah, I saw one of those on the road today, so that was fun.
A motor compacto?
No, no, I wish I would have like tried to hit him with my car, but like a Cybertruck. I'm like, God damn it. And so it's like the third time I've seen it around, so I know we have found the village idiot up here
It's
finally.
stalking you, dude. At this
Eh,
point,
yeah, yeah. And I mean it's just perfectly plain, doesn't have any stuff on it, like most of them. Other than, maybe there's like a drool bucket in the front seat. I don't know what comes in
I
those
just think
things.
it's weird how many businesses are like wrapping their business in Cybertrucks now. Like I saw one the other day for like an HVAC company. I was like, wow, I know who I don't want to come fix my air conditioner now.
Right? Right? I mean, that's what you're going to have to represent your business. That's going to be great when you take it through a car wash and it just sits there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the internet photos and stuff are going to be great for that. Cheeseburger.com's got to be all over that. Or the whole Reddit community that's against Cybertrucks. Like, I am so happy I'm not alone on this. Like Subarus, I knew I was all alone on. It's like, yep, well, okay, it's me versus everyone.
Yeah, but the
And
nice thing is none of the hippies that drive Subarus use the internet anyway, so you're good there.
yeah, that's true. They use the internet. I don't know. It's just different,
The
and I don't
in
have
tree net.
Yes, just plug an Apple computer up to a tree and be like, yeah.
What's the thing they talked about in Last of Us? Like all the fucking mushrooms can talk to each other. It's basically the internet the hipsters are using to drive Subarus.
We don't use petrol. We use fungi. All right. We going real fast. But yeah, no, so I guess yeah, that's a good enough opening statement for me, I guess. Just God, they are showing up more and more, and like, why don't people look into what they're buying beforehand?
Because people are fucking stupid. That's the simple answer.
Golly. Like
People say, "Ooh, Elon made this. It's mine. I'm in. I gotta have it."
the only thing he did kind of good was PayPal. And he kind of came in on the back end of that and just fucking marketed the shit out of that and then got fired.
Yeah, that sounds
So
right.
yeah, but oh well. Oh God, this show is turning somewhat into an Elon Musk fucking biography, I think. But
How are we not on Twitter?
I'm glad you brought that up. That the first thing this morning I saw this and I thought, yeah, that's gonna be my opening statement for our next show. Was and I don't know, I didn't look into this too much, but I thought it was hilarious. So I'm just gonna assume it's true. Just like everybody who does internet research. 89% of people allegedly still call it Twitter and not X. So
The only ones that call it X are the same losers who are using this mushroom network that we were just talking about, who are like, "I drive a Subaru and I post about it on X daily."
dude, dude, what if there was like a Subaru version of Cybertruck? I mean, that would just
The super truck.
Subaru truck, Subaru truck. Oh fuck,
Instead
God.
of getting stuck in a car wash, 'cause they don't believe in wasting water. It's like if like a leaf falls on you when you're driving through the woods, it just catches on fire. Ironically, it burns down every set of woods that it drives into, despite the fact that hipsters try to save them.
And it actually has an afterlife feature too that takes you to fucking Narnia. So there you fucking go. How's that on?
That's just a different usage of that mushroom network that we were just talking about.
Welcome to Narnia.
Multi-purposed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the last. God damn it. Yeah. The other day I had to go by somewhere. I'm not even going to say where because it's embarrassing. I guess. Just because I'm closely related to where this person was, and somebody from Virginia, and I want to say that because it wasn't New Hampshire.
Well, it is for
But
lovers. So somebody that was in love. Yes, go on.
oh yes, and they loved their vanity license plate that said Subaru.
Like with like a woo on the end, like Ric Flair would say, like Suba woo.
No. Subuwuu.
I don't
Subaru.
even know if that's woo at that point. It's like Suba you.
Yeah, God,
Weirdly almost becomes a Y at that point.
I Super Y, Super E,
Subaru
Wee. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, they've been taking a lot of the Mushroom Network fuel, I guess. Speaking of fuel, that's where we're going to start this week with our first topic, which is going fast. So, in one of the very few times in recent memory, NASCAR has made headlines outside of just NASCAR circles. So, figured might as well talk about it. If you don't know, well, that's okay. You probably tuned off or went back to, like thinking, what would LeBron James think about my current elliptical cycle? But catch everybody up, get everybody on the same page. After a bit of an Olympics hiatus, NASCAR came back on Sunday night. Richmond, again, there you go, Virginia. It's a nice track, but Austin Dillon in the 3-1. Why is that a problem? Well, coming around that last turn, he ran in kind of this order, and it was actually impressive. Going into the corner, he puts Joey Logano into a wall, or he turns him, and then he kind of goes like underneath. And then coming up off of that turn, Austin Dillon then runs into Denny Hamlin and throws him into the upper fence. So basically, within about 2 seconds, the three knocked out two people who could have won the race.
Impressive.
Yeah, yeah. So as you would expect, the two drivers that got fucked were kind of mad about that and said that, hey, maybe NASCAR should strip the three of the win. As it currently stands, NASCAR has a win in your in setup for the postseason, which means that Austin Dillon, after the last regular season race coming up here in a couple of weeks, will be in the playoffs if NASCAR decides to do nothing. Also, to make this even more fun, afterwards, Joey Logano took his car, drove it around, drove it back down pit road like you're supposed to do, and then went into Austin Dillon's pit and did a burnout right in front of his pit crew. Um, so Wrangler, is this a case of if you ain't first, you're last, or should Dillon be stripped of the dub? What do you think?
Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think if you ain't first, you're last. I think I get that there's safety rules here, and I get that the idea of forcing somebody to crash is dangerous. It shouldn't be done. But I also think if you're a professional driver and you get wrecked, be a better driver. Don't get wrecked, or be so far out ahead that nobody can catch you and wreck you. When we went to New Hampshire 2 years ago, I don't remember who won that race, but that dude was so freaking far ahead of everybody else in the field, you couldn't have wrecked him if he tried. That dude deserved to win that race because nobody could wreck his ass. If you're close enough, somebody else could wreck you. Maybe you need to have a Cal Naughton to your Ricky Bobby and have somebody just like run protection for you and be a barrier so nobody can come up and take your ass out in that final turn. So for me, I think no punishment should happen. I think turnabout is fair play. Burnout should also be allowed. And if Austin gets wrecked moving forward, all right. I think there's a certain point of like if we try to enforce stuff ourselves, stuff's still gonna happen. If you don't, it's NASCAR. It'll all work itself out. Because guess what? If they don't do anything about this, next week the two dudes that got wrecked are probably gonna sandwich Austin right in the middle of the two of them in about lap 3. And that'll solve his problem all its own when those two guys come together. And then we build a friendship. So really, win-win.
Yeah, two guys who are just not friends with anybody could come together on this. I like that.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going opposite on this one. Even though it is the three, and God forbid anything bad ever happened to the three, Austin Dillon and wins has a history of doing this. We go back to Daytona many, many years back before the pandemic for his one and only Daytona 500 victory. He is Eric Almirola was out ahead. They're going about 210 miles per hour. Coming into turn 3, Austin Dillon gets into him and throws him into the outer barrier. Now, that one, okay, you could maybe make okay, you were checking down, you were going fast enough, he should have gotten out of the way argument. Maybe I can see that from like a lot of the crayon eaters, but seeing it live, it was just so fucking gnarly. Right. And then Eric Almirola gets out and is just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go see the doctor now and I'll be fine. And then they kind of hate each other. Um,
Yeah, I can imagine why.
a lot of the bad wrecks where like you see cars flipping over themselves happen off of the first hit that uh Dylan did to Logano, where he kind of hooked him and pulled him underneath, because then you're going back into traffic and there's nothing you could fucking do at that
Yeah,
point.
it's not ideal.
Yeah,
Ideally,
so
if traffic's going left, you'd like to stay going left.
mhm, instead of doing a 360 into it. Yeah, so it's
Or,
pretty
we
bad.
go back to Talladega Nights here. If that happens, you just got to win the race in reverse, Ricky Bobby style.
I don't think anybody has the reflexes to pull that off, including the car itself. But
Ricky Bobby will win this race in reverse. What can't this man do?
hey, Jamie, I got you something from Target. It is on sale. It's real nice. Oh God, good old Talladega Nights. But I like where you took it too, of operationally what would happen afterwards in this situation. And I think you're pretty spot on that there's going to be some sort of reckoning that comes, pun
Oh, yeah.
intended there. I think
That's a great term for it. I might use that from now on.
the reckoning. Um,
Oh, there's a reckoning happening in turn four.
yeah, yeah. Get rid of the big one. Call it the reckoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, buddy.
Honestly, that'd be a great name for a track. 'Welcome to the Cookout 1250, presented by at the Reckoning.
12. We're gonna go over 1,000 miles in this motherfucker.
Let's go.
Jesus Christ.
It's a 12 mile straightaway before you make one turn to come back to the beginning.
It's just like a giant O.
Well, you can't spell reckoning without the letter O. Oh, yep.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That word we
Or
just
maybe it should just spell out reckoning. Just W becomes R. I don't even know how that would work. It's got to be like Hot Wheels turns and like ramps, but that sounds sick. I'd watch that race. The ultimate road course, the reckoning.
wow. We finally become a children's show. First time ever. I just want to go get Hot Wheels and make that track. Just fucking line it up. Holy shit.
Pitch it to NASCAR.
Oh
Dear
yeah.
NASCAR, look at what I did with my Hot Wheels. Make this.
We'll call it a road course. It'll work. It'll be fine. Just a 12-mile loop. Um, but yeah, where is it going with that? Oh yeah, I think it's going to happen in multiple times, and I think Logano and Hamlin are going to get. They're going to come together and have a chat this week and be like, "Hey, so when are we getting him back?" Oh, I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to wait for the playoffs to do it, because this was so egregious.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like why do it next week when NASCAR's expecting it? But like, you start off the playoffs, wreck them out like real early on. Okay, looks like you're not getting to the next round, bud. And then just for shits and giggles, that last race before the cutoff line, fucking put him in the fence again.
See, but again, that goes to my point that I made before that I feel like every sport would be better if we had enforcers. Like you think about enforcers in
Mm.
hockey back in the day where like, if somebody went out there and hit McDavid, they had one goon whose entire job was just like protect McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
If every racing team had one enforcer like that happens, so you're like, Billy Jim Bob is taking his ass out next race. He's going to finish in 47th place, but he has one job and he does it well. Dylan's going to be like, wouldn't that make the race that much more exciting when Dylan's constantly just trying to keep one car between him and this one dude? They're in like 38th place and like 3 laps behind the leader just because he doesn't want to give up that one car barrier.
Yeah, and that one car is his brother.
You
Ty Dillon's
see
just
him
throwing
just stalking.
blocks.
I think if I'm the enforcer in that scenario, it doesn't matter where I do it. If I can't catch him after like lap 20, I'm just sitting at the end of pit row and just waiting for him to come down and taking his ass out when he comes in. He's got to get there eventually.
You
You
just
see
hear
the
the
pace car going, there's 40 cars just going pace speed, and then there's just 2 cars whipping around the outside.
you just hear him while he's sitting there on pit road. He calls up to his spotter, "Hey, put me through to the threes radio." Okay, and you just hear him do the fucking Negan whistle, just like that would be fun.
It'd be
God,
amazing.
yeah, NASCAR
I'd
would.
sign up for this job. The job sounds sick. Especially because you get paid, but you only have to race like 20 laps every weekend. That sounds even better. It's right up my alley.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just the modified version of Warren Zevon's hit song that none of you ever heard of. Hit somebody.
Hit
Hit.
somebody.
Fuck yeah.
Setting a
Fuck.
new personal best, 24 laps accomplished.
Actually cracked the top 30. Holy
Looks like he's
shit.
pulling off to take a leak. He's never been on the road this long before.
Oh god. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So thanks for indulging me there because God, I had to talk about the redneckery that was. Um, Speaking of redneckery, we're going a little more sophisticated right now with our
Ooh,
Nardowick poetry slam. And I actually got an actual poem for
ooh.
Utes today. But I don't even know who this guy is. This guy could be white. I don't know. But Rango, you got something for the people.
I do. It's a song called Freako, and it's by I don't know if this is one dude or a gentleman, but their name is Speaker Knockers with a Z, and it
Speaker knockers.
Speaker Knockers, and it's just an absolute poem. It goes, "I'm gonna throw this money like a free throw. Arch your back, put your hands on your knees, ho. I'm gonna throw this money like a free throw, and you just keep on dancing like a freako. Arch your back, put your hands on your knees, ho." And then it goes, "Bounce that ass to my motherfucking beat, ho. Bounce that ass, 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 bounce that ass." And it goes into a second verse, but then it comes back to that, and he says bounce that ass that many more times. I just like that we're comparing bouncing the ass hoe to throwing money like a free throw. That's just lyrical genius right there, in my personal opinion. I heard that the other day, and I was like, wow, this might be the best written song I've ever heard in my life.
That was good. I'm glad you text me to say you Shazam that. Oh my god.
Wasn't
Yeah,
even me. I had somebody else do it for me, but yeah.
it doesn't
Speaker
matter.
knockers.
Speaker knockers. Oh my god. Lyrical fucking genius. Well, unlike you, I didn't even, really read mine beforehand. I just clicked on something. Um and so this is a poem called Lovin' on Me by I don't know, is this guy might be white, I don't know, Jack Harlow, I don't know.
Yeah, Jack Harlow's white.
He is.
He was in the new White Men Can't Jump on Hulu.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, Jack Harlow's Jewish.
He's Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry. I guess I fucked this one up. Yeah. So, this is this is loving on me. I don't know. It just, yeah. Okay. So I don't like no whips and chains, and you can't tie me down, but you can whip your loving on me, baby. That's gross. Whip your loving on me, baby. Ugh. I'm vanilla, baby. Oh, well, there it is. Okay. I should have fucking. That's,
See, he even told you if you read the lyrics.
yeah, if I did, yeah. Um, I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. I don't like no whips and chains. She 28, telling me I'm still a baby, and you can't tie me down. I get love from Detroit like Skilla, baby, but you can't whip your
Troy loves
loving
no
on
one.
me, baby. And the thing about your boy is whip your loving on me, baby. I don't like no whips and chains, and you can't tie me down, but you can whip your lovin' on me, baby. That's right, that's right. Whip your lovin' on me, baby.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then it
Bounce
goes
that
in,
ass, bounce that ass, bounce that ass, bounce that ass.
and then it goes into, um, okay, yeah, okay, I'll read this one, and that'll be it for the poetry slam this week. One of the verses is young Missionary, young missionary. Sex. You sharp like barbed wire. She stole my heart. Then she got archived, not arched. Arched would have worked better there.
Yeah,
God.
actually.
Yeah. I keep it short with a B, Lord Farquaad. Lord Farquaad.
Remember that name because this actually our segment later. I'm coming back to that.
Thanks to the Lord for. Okay, yeah. So that was Jack Harlow, and I learned a lot from that,
Yep.
and not what I thought I would. So there you go. I hope you learned something too. I hope you did. Now, now let's go ahead and move on to the second of our sports segments. It was announced today that Man City's financial lies trial, as it should be known, will start on September 16th. Now, most of you guys are in the US and don't understand the footy hoops. So, for context, last year, Everton, also an English Premier League team, Wrangler's favorite, had one violation similar to this and was docked 10 points, which means that instead of having 50 points at the end of the season and a 10th place finish, they ended with 40 points and a 15th place finish. Kind of came down to the wire. Looked like they might have got relegated for a second. Okay.
Yep. Second straight year.
So, close. Yeah, it was close. It was. But should be noted that was one violation. Man City has 115 violations, all of them basically the same thing.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. So Man City, in response, files their own countersuit to essentially try to negate these allegations. So they're kind of appealing this beforehand. It's really weird. That trial is supposed to start in about 2 weeks' time and get figured out. So, Wrangler, what should happen in this situation? And then we'll come back to reality in a little bit.
What should happen is we're going to go and set a precedent that it's 10 points per violation. They should lose 1,150 points and be relegated to League Two.
Championship.
League Two, championship. I'm cool with any of that. Championship works too.
Fucking relegate them down multiple levels. They're going to League Two now.
Why not? I just think there's a certain level of that. It's tough. Okay. Everton getting 10 points puts Man City in a terrible position. Had the precedent not been set, then I'd say screw it, just pay the difference in finances and we'll move along. Maybe give them a slap on the wrist, whatever. At the end of the day, the financial issue, what this really comes down to is they're basically just taking money away from the league and the other owners. It's not actually impacting the players whatsoever. Yet the punishment is only impacting the players. And so I think we're kind of unfair there. The front office did some shady shit, and next thing you know, the players are the only ones that are getting disciplined here. I have an issue with that. So if we relegate them down to League Two or all the way to the championship, realistically, they're going to get promoted for the next 4 years and get back to Premier League pretty quickly. But the amount of money that organization will lose is extensive. Every player on the roster will request a transfer, will refuse to play, will boycott, and they'll all get traded away to other Premier League teams anyway. So I think the only way to do this in a fair manner that affects the people who actually had any kind of violation to it is to do that. Any other punishment you're going to put in place of taking points away within the Premier League or anything like that is not really impacting anybody other than the players. Everton losing 10 points last year and going from 10th to 15th. Sure, there's a little bit of financial difference there, not a lot. At the end of the day, Everton sort of overachieved getting to 10th place last year, and you took that away from the players that worked their ass off to get there, even though they had nothing to do with this financial issue that came into place. Let's just make sure we're punishing the right people here.
Yeah. So in the perfect world, what should happen in this situation? Man City should get relegated to the championship next year. They should just be there, do their time. They're going to win the EFL championship. They're going to be the number one seed. They're going to get one of the automatic bids into the Premier League, even if they lose most of their players like they said they would, just because they have such financial backing. The other side of this, I don't see a huge fine. I see a huge financial fine coming down to where it's like shock worthy value for the common person. but like for the investors of Man
No,
City, it's
not at
going to
all.
be, like, oh man, I can't buy my third Ferrari this week now, and that's it.
I guess my Cybertruck's gonna have to stay in the repair shop one more week.
That's what they call the car wash. It's the repair shop. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's insane to me to think like there's no real good way to punish this because it was a financial issue and they got caught doing it 115 times. I mean, what other punishments could you give? I mean, I guess in theory you could say, okay, let's send you back down to the to EFL Championship, and you can win the league. You could be top four, and you're not coming up for 3 years. I think now that might be a better solution.
I like that. But that's
Um,
also to my point from before, why I think you put them all the way down in League Two. I think if you put them in League Two, it's going to take them 4 years anyway. So yeah, you're going to win every year, but you can't go more than one league a year anyway. So if you start in League Two, you get to League One, then you get to the championship, you're still 3 years from being back in the Premier League anyway.
So here's the flip side of this is there's a shit ton of Man City fans out there.
There is.
I mean, there's a shit ton of fans for teams all across the EPL, EFL Championship, and EFL One, right? Uh, I don't think that the Premier League is or FIFA or whoever the fuck is going to dole out this punishment is going to go all in on that, just because of how much of a fucking mainstay Man City is.
But couldn't you argue if they're Man City fans, it doesn't matter what league they're in, they should still be Man City fans? And to a certain extent, if finances are what this comes down to, by relegating them down more than just one league, from championship down to League One, League Two, whatever, there's actually sort of a redistribution of wealth that goes into there as well, because now you're actually going to boost the ratings of those level, which in theory, if every team in the championship is supposed to be, and by championship, I mean the premiership, every team in the premiership is supposed to be on equal footing to some extent, and obviously it doesn't work that way, but in theory, if an EFL2 team should be able to, in a perfect world, make it to the Premier League, isn't a little redistribution of wealth good for competition anyway?
I guess it could be, but then again, I mean, something like this has never been done before either.
Right.
I mean, okay, we punish you to where there's no mathematical way you're not going to be in that league. I mean, I guess then, because this could come out early, they said they want to get it done before the end of the 2024-25 season.
Yep.
But really, I mean, it does put this whole season to waste. But here's another side of this, too, that might not be so great, right? So let's say they take their time with this case and it comes out in March, right?
Hmm.
The hunt for who's going to be in the Champions League or who's getting fucking relegated, it's on at that point.
Yeah.
Man City gets the punishment then, right? If I'm, Man U, Liverpool, any of those like top five teams that are going to be competing for Champions League spots, I'm going to be pissed that I had to play them at full strength in the fall,
Yep.
right? Because what are they going to do then? It's like, well, we're getting fucking relegated, so I'm going to start my summer break early, you know?
Yeah. And I think what'll wind up happening is if they do go that route, all those losses or wins are going to become wins anyway. They're just going to become forfeits essentially at that point. Kind of like we talked about with all Les Miles's wins a few weeks ago, that all of those just became wins for the other team by forfeit. And so to your point, I think if some teams
Well,
actually
they didn't do
truly,
that to Everton, did they? They just knocked off the 10 points and
they just
then,
knocked off the 10 points. They didn't take
yeah.
it away from the other teams. But that was one team and that was 10 points. We're talking about 115 violations that basically comes down to an entire season.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it from that perspective of, okay, we're going to go ahead and let them play at full strength, we're just going to take every single point they have away this year. They're at zero and now they're getting relegated. I think 10 points from one team versus an entire season is just two completely different animals altogether. And at that point, I think you have to say win or loss. You can't say that we're letting them play at full strength. If you lost to them, it counts, but if you won, it also counts. I don't know how that makes any sense at that point.
Yeah. And I could just see that argument popping up if this occurs. Like it's going to be bad, especially those top
If
four teams. Yeah.
if Liverpool loses to them and Man U beats them and Man U beats Liverpool by 2 points, you're telling me Liverpool's argument isn't going to be, well, you took their entire season away. Why did our loss count and their win counts?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's it exactly. Right. I mean, what's going to be fair in this? Because this is not. I mean, they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to go through this expediently through the 2025 season." It's like,
Right.
I mean, when did Everton's punishment come down? I thought it was around like,
Early. It was
yeah,
early. They were within the first 2 to 3 months of the season, probably within the first 2 months. I think they were at around 20 and got knocked down to about 10 points. They finished with 40. So realistically, you're what? 2/5 of the way into the season there, in theory, give or take.
yeah, and there, there's going to be some mad people still too, but yeah, gosh, just no real good solution to this. So that is the what we think should happen part of this conversation. Now, what's really going to happen?
Not much. I think that when we're talking about FIFA, which oversees the Premiership, you're talking about the most corrupt organization in the world, and the dollar will always be most relevant. And I think it goes back to the point that you made before that this isn't like we're talking about Luton Town or Southampton or any of those organizations out there. We're talking about Man U, right? Or Man City. I think there's too much money to be lost. And I think, we talk about the idea that, yeah, you could essentially redistribute the wealth by sending them down. I don't think they care. I don't think the Premiership wants that because their moneymaker, their horse, is the Premier League. And so, in my eyes, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a fine of some sort. They're going to get essentially a slap on the wrist. Maybe they take 5 points. Maybe they take 10 points like they did to Everton. I don't know. I don't think they're going to take an entire season or force them to relegate. I think there's going to be some backroom deals where they basically say, give us what you took plus more. Because again, at the end of the day, this case has nothing to do with the players. This case is basically you took money out of our pockets. You essentially put some commas and decimals where they shouldn't have been, and you took a greater percentage of your share than you should have. Now the owners in the league are owed money. I think they're basically just going to say, give it back to us with interest. Now you owe us more money. It hurts the franchise, but it doesn't hurt the brand. What I think is more interesting, though, is I think when that happens, what's Everton's move? I think if you're Everton, obviously it was last season, but if 115 infractions don't get points deducted and you lost 10 points for one, I'm very curious to see if Everton, asked on new precedent to reopen their case and get the 10 points back from last season. Again, 15 versus 10, I'm sure makes a massive difference in the purse. And I don't know what the difference is, but I'm sure we're talking about a difference of millions of dollars of finishing in 15th place versus 10th place in the league. It also, and this is obviously not rectified at this point, it also makes you a more attractive free agent and transfer destination to finish 10th versus 15th. Borderline relegation versus being borderline top half of the league. You're going to get better players, which in theory helps you out down the line to be a better organization. And now that's irreversible. So I think what's going to happen is very little with this case, but I'm very curious what happens with Everton's case should what we think or what I think will happen here actually come true.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What is Everton's case after this? Because yeah, there's millions of dollars that are left on the table from this shit. And Everton is it, I mean, you always refer to them as the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you're talking about a group in Everton who's trying to sell right now. They had American owners lined up and the American owners pulled out. If they'd finished 10th versus 15th, you think that deal goes through? Chances are probably. I
yeah,
think it's a backroom impact that's not going to get talked about, but truly, I think that deal goes through, and Everton's in a much different position right now if they don't get docked 10 points.
yeah, yeah. The new ownership group that was going to come in, I think they made a mistake in not buying the team because you
Agreed.
could have negotiated it for a lesser amount, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
and then filed this appeal anyways. And then, hey, if
And
it happens, great. If not, what
and
the fuck?
Everton's not a bad brand. They're not a Man U or a Man City, but they're a team who hasn't been relegated in over 50 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so when you're talking about a Premier League mainstay, we're not talking about a Luton Town right now who made it up last year finally. You're not at the bottom. You're a team who's a marketable brand. You're a household name. You're in the city of Liverpool, so you have that natural built-in rivalry right there. I think to your point, yeah, it's a massive blunder not to buy them right now when they're down because I just think the upside is so high compared to the downside in that deal. But I truly think that the point deduction had a lot to do with that deal not going through.
Yeah, and I'm not going out here saying like this season Everton is going to be compete. Okay, they might go off and get a Europa spot, which is like fifth in the league. They
I,
might.
I
I
thought them 10 last year was overachieving if they had
yeah.
gotten deducted the points. I truly thought if they'd finished 10th, I thought that was overachieving versus where they should have been.
Well, if you look at their trajectory too in the league, that 10th place finish was well, should have been 10th place finish was a huge leap and bound from the year before too. So they're
Absolutely.
moving and trending in the right direction. It's just, well, they kind of got fucked, right?
Although then this is completely off topic, but they're in a weird place now because now they're over asking for the players that are being demanded, the transfers that are potentially going out there to make them more money. They're asking way more than any team wants to pay, which I think puts them in this kind of weird limbo of what are you? Are you a buyer or a seller right now? And I think the point deduction has them to where they don't have an identity on that question. Are you a buyer or a seller? It's hard to say. Are you the 10th best team in the league or the 15th? If you're the 10th best team in the league, you shouldn't be selling these players off, period. You should be building around them. If you're the 15th best team in the league, definitely sell them off, but you're asking 10th place money for 15th place players.
Right, right. And so yeah, it's a tricky situation for them. But to get back to the reality of what's going to happen to Manchester City, here's here's what the crystal ball says, okay? Because they just won the Community Shield a couple
Yep.
days ago,
Yep.
so you know they're going to be great again on the pitch this year, no matter what happens. Look, realistically, they're going to get slapped with a fucking financial fine. It's just coming. It has to. Um, as far as the points are concerned, I'm kind of with you in that I think there's going to be a points deduction. Unlike you, I think it's going to be more significant. I think it's going to be big enough to take them out of Champions League, which is, I mean, come on, they're projected to go first or second in the Prem this year.
You score
Okay.
100 points and you take 50 away, you're still top 10. You're not getting relegated.
Yeah, but I think they're going to do something like that to where it goes from 1 to 2 to like 10 to 12 somewhere in there. I think that's the actual points deduction that's going to happen. I think they are going to lose players because of that. You know, I just look at Haaland and it's like, hey, he wants to play with the best still. I don't see him being happy about having to take a year off from that just to wreak havoc on the Prem alone. So I think that's what's going to happen in this situation.
And
Um,
in a weird way, with Mbappe now being in Real Madrid, don't be surprised if PSG tries to make a move on Holland there, because look at how much money you have now from the Mbappe just leaving, just his salary. And I know he left as a free agent, but just the salary you freed up right there, you have a lot of money to throw towards Holland.
oh yeah, and he is so happy with going to Real Madrid right now with them not letting him play for France. So
Yep.
yeah,
He
so
literally could have played in his own home stadium at PSG for the championship, but nope, nope.
he could have given all the PSG fans the finger one more time. And you don't think he wanted to do that? Like,
Oh,
come on.
100%.
Yeah.
It's his home country, man. Everybody wants to play for their own home country in the Olympics.
Right. Yeah. And there's no way in hell that France, I mean, we talked about it before that France would have selected him. I mean, there's no fucking doubt. And they would have fucking sweeped everybody. It wouldn't have been even close at that point.
No.
Um, but yeah. Yeah. So a little bit of soccer hoops. The Prem season starts at the end of the month. So I know most of you guys will be like, oh, American football by that point, and I will kind of be too this year. But
That's
it's
fair.
another fun little sport to hang around and hitch a little bit of a wagon to early on. Any wild predictions from the Premier League before we move on to the next segment?
Um, yes. I think uh hmm, let me pull the table up here. Hang on. Okay. I think when you look at the teams in the league right now, I think Crystal Palace is down. I think they're going to be fighting for relegation this year. I think that with Man City getting deducted, you're looking at Man U, and we're gonna go with I know Arsenal overachieved last year. I'm gonna throw a wild one out here. I think Tottenham's gonna be right up there in top three. Why? Why
Yeah, that
not? Um, and
could be.
we'll throw one more weird one out here. Let's see. I think Leicester's gonna be 15. Why? Because why not?
Hmm, okay. Okay, so wild predictions here. Maybe this isn't wild at all. I think that Ipswich Town, Leicester, I think their luck has run out, and I'm gonna throw out Wolves because I fucking hate Wolves.
Thought
Uh, I
about that too. Yeah.
I think all three of them are going to enjoy the EFL Championship Series next year. Um, so hey, lose your way to win, boys. I think that'll be fun.
All
Uh,
right.
at the top of the table, I think my surprise team, and this isn't really that much of a surprise if you watch them, it's going to be Brighton. They got a great coach. They got a great system. They got some pretty good players who are buying in. I can see Brighton competing for that Europa fifth spot.
All right.
It's kind of
I'll
safe.
raise an interesting one here.
Okay.
So, Man City
Mm-hmm.
gets docked to where they have to go down a league, but
Okay.
they don't make that decision until after the season. So, season wraps up. 2 weeks later, like, we finally decided on the punishment. Man City, you're getting docked the entire season. You're going down. Do you send four teams down then and next year bring four back up? Or is one of the teams that for 2 weeks thought they were relegated now all of a sudden alive in the Premier League again?
I'm gonna go with you still send down just 18, 19, and 20. So I
And
would
one team
keep
just randomly comes back to life.
yeah, I would keep that 18 spot in the Prem. What would you do?
I think you have to from a scheduling perspective. I just think it's going to be really weird if they say they're going to have it done by the end of the season. They don't get it done until a little bit after. And then they say, oh, yeah, by the way, we're taking all these points away and you're going down because the battle for 18th place gets a lot more important than you don't even know it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you got to think they got to have that in the back of their mind if it comes down to that. But God, I
You
hope
would
this.
hope, but I don't have that kind of credit or that kind of faith in them.
Yeah, we've watched for a couple years. We know better.
Yep.
We know better. Um. So yeah. Anyways, join up with one of our teams if you don't have one. I'm a Liverpool supporter, obviously, and Wrangler's an Everton supporter. So, so that's a fun little rivalry we have a couple times a year.
Can't call it a rivalry if you never lose.
It's across town. It's the friendly derby. That's
Oh,
what it
it's
is.
friendly because there's never a competition.
Yeah. And fun
We
fact,
weirdly compete well against Chelsea and Arsenal sometimes, but like nobody else.
Arsenal's a surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like we beat Arsenal every single time we play them for some reason, but like every other team in the league beats us by 10.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a team to join, don't join Chelsea. It's the ultimate anti-aphrodisiac. So there you
It's
go.
fair. It's fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The pub I always watch games at is they have a Chelsea condom on there and like behind the bar, and you just look at it and you're like, wow, that's worthless. All you gotta do is wear the shirt. No one will touch you then. So that'll be fun. Little little shit talk before the season, kind of like we do on this show or in previous shows. But speaking of talking shit, it's time now for a Giuseppe Stromboli redo of the week. This one is unofficially sponsored by DK Donkey Balls. In honor of the famous remake of the popular series of books out of the UK, we honor the pool playing, bang noodle wielding, and absolutely from New Jersey Wizard with our Giuseppe Stromboli redo of the week, unofficially sponsored by DK Donkey Balls. If you're on the big island of Hawaii, enjoy, and need a sweet chocolate covered treat, get DK Donkey Balls. Donkey Balls. Donkey Balls.
What he said. Yeah.
Indeed. And so in July, a once prince and now King Charles, he made an appearance and did something very, very big. That very, very big thing was to give a royal title to a rare breed of goats. The golden goats, as they're so lovingly referred to, were given the title of Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. Royal Golden Guernsey Goat. Yeah, it's my fuckhead English accent. The rare goat,
That's like a
alleged.
Chelsea supporters right here with me.
Oh yeah, Chelsea's going to do great in the Prem this year, mate. All right, and so yeah, when I give my answers to this prompt, they're all going to be in that accent now.
Love it. Love it.
The rare golden goat allegedly produces good milk. I don't know why the article had to say that, but it did. And
Well, they had to give you the backstory as to why that one got knighted and the rest of them didn't.
well, they all got the title. Now they're just Royal Guernsey Goats.
Gone, dugout. You sound like you're from London.
So like Terrence and Phillip. So,
I'm just thinking,
so you
just
got to
thinking
do
of
it in
forgetting Sarah Marshall or Paul Rudd is high on the beach. He's like, you sound like you're from London.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, and these golden goats, I guess, are like endangered as well. To kind of hints why. So you're the bloody king, and you're hammered on that high ABV goat milk yak. Yeah, I said that. And you want to be the Oprah of giving animals titles they cannot understand. What animal are you going to bestow the title upon? So that's part one. And what is the royal title that you are going to give it?
We can rattle them off here.
Yeah, so we'll go
Um,
one by one, kind of like we have
yep.
previously. Yeah, I like that.
Well, I'll start with the low-hanging fruit here. The easiest slam dunk one. I'm gonna take a seagull and I'm gonna name him Sir Mark Siegel.
Wow, I did not have that one on my list. Good job. Okay, so my first one, the animal is the common grackle. It's a type of bird. Okay, so you might see them around. They're kind of black. They got a kind of purplish haze-ish purple haze to them. But yeah, the common grackle will now forever be fucking known as Sir Flappity Fuckbeak.
All right. I'm gonna stick with the theme here of low-hanging fruit, just to get us started. We've talked about horses on this show before, and so obviously for me, I'm gonna name mine Chief Big Penis.
I thought you were going to do it in a Canadian accent.
I don't even have that on that one.
Yeah, all right. So I see you chief mighty penis over there, yeah. And so I've raised you for horse, Sir Edward. Sir Edward. Not
I like
Colin.
it.
Not that
Not
fucking
sparkly
wanker that
vampire.
sparkles. No, fuck that guy. Fuck that. Why don't you go be Bruce Wayne or something?
Okay. I've got you remember some breakfast cereal back in the day? This guy right here for a toad. His name's Sir Smackums.
For a toad.
I think the Smackums thing was a toad, not a frog. Maybe it was a frog. Either way, Sir Smackums.
I'm gonna pour some more desk whiskey for this one.
Smart plan. Smart plan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be good. Ah, fuck it. Did have a
Three
head
things
folder, right?
strong. There you go. So four fingers
There we go.
strong.
There we go. All right. All right, you silly fuckers. So the next one, saber-toothed tiger. Saber-toothed tiger. This one is going to be called Silly Fang Doot Snooted. Silly Fanged Doot Snooted.
I like it. I like it. If we're going literal on him, then I'm going to go with the goose, the
Oh,
common Canadian goose, who obviously his name is Sir Turdenbite.
I had goose on my list too, so I think I'll stick with that one. All right, so your goose there, mate. It's gonna be forever known as Honka Two Bite at You. Whoa.
Damn it, your rhymes, it's so much better. Okay. I've got I don't know why I like this one, but I do for the sloth. I've got this one's gonna be a lord, not a sir. This one
Ooh.
is Lord Scratch and Sloth.
Yes. I love it. I love it. All right, your next one up. Next one in the queue is Piranha. It's Piranha, yeah. Aquatic Pac-Man.
Funny because I got piranha as well. Mine is Bitey McFangtooth.
Is it bad I had Bitey in that before I thought of Pac-Man?
Not at all. It just means we've been doing these way too long.
So long. Why did they let us do a free internet show? Oh yeah. Okay. So this is the Shih Tzu. Shih Tzu. Yeah, right. So we got the Shih Tzu, and its royal name is Mitsubishi Highlander.
Because there's so many staggering comparisons between the two.
Exactly. I just saw that and remembered for I saw Shih Tzu, and for whatever reason I remember my great grandfather, he couldn't say Mitsubishi, so he always called him Mitsubishis. And so I was like, I just need to incorporate that. So
Let's see. I've got a chameleon, and my name is Karma, 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 Israel.
like Israel or Israel.
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. Karma is real in Israel. But in this scenario, I meant it more as two words, but you can put it together as one. Karma Israel would actually be a great name for a chameleon.
Could be, could be.
I
I
wonder if
like.
there's a rapper named Karma Israel. If
I
there is, that
was
needs to be our Nardo next week.
was just thinking that. See, that could be your rap name. Then we could. You'd be like, yeah, we could go on tour. That'd be
Caramel
great.
Waters and Karma Israel.
We would get booed off so many places.
Why did you pay us money to play here?
They paid us money to leave too. All right. That's great. That's great. All right. All right. So the next one I got is an alligator. Gator. An alligator is medulla oblongfabulous.
So a gay alligator. An alligator. See what I did there? See what I did
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I didn't even mean for it to, have a gay reference, but yeah, I guess I just thought, medulla oblongata, and I was like, that's not fun. So, what you got?
Let's see. Um, I've got a rhino,
Mm-hmm.
which is obviously gonna be known as Sir Fat Unicorn.
Sir Faticorn, if you will. Yeah, where's Sir Faticorn over there? Being all fat, fucking got a tooth nail. Yeah. Anyways, the next one I got is a what do we got left? Next one I got is a beaver. A, a beaver. Yeah, okay. So a beaver is royal lordship is gonna be Nomwood Supreme.
Let's
Yeah.
see. I've got a bulldog, and the common household bulldog is gonna be known as Stubby McOverbite.
Stubby McOverpite. Oh yeah. All right. So next up we have the Arctic Fox. The Arctic Fox. It's going to be known as Star Lord Fox. I wanted to say Star Fox, but it wasn't. Yeah, there's copyrights and shit, mate.
I like it. Um, for the emu, we got to go back to the Great Emu War of the 1980s in Australia, which is a real thing.
Ooh.
So my nickname for the emu is just refugee. He comes from a war-torn country. He no longer has a home. This emu has just become a refugee.
Jesus. All right, my next one is a meerkat. Yeah, all right, so the meerkat's royal name is now going to be called Mannerful Ferret.
I've got a wolf, and my name for the wolf is Eddard Sabich. If you ain't Team Eddard, fuck you,
Yeah,
unless you're a wolf, in which case Eddard Sabich.
still fuck you. You should be Team Eddard fucking wolves. Oh god. I think most people who listen to the show might have forgotten about that reference, so it's worth taking a minute to talk about. Burger King had this Team Edward versus Team Jacob fucking like meal deal thing lined up when that part of that movie series came out, and so
I think that was the
Jeremy and
entire movie series.
yeah, well, it wasn't like the first or second or whatever didn't have the wolf guy, so
I
when
think
they
they
entered,
all had the wolf guy, didn't they?
did they? I don't think they did.
Thought they all did. I don't know.
Um, And so when it came out, Jeremy and I just were running around going up to people, being like, "Hey man, if you ain't Team Eddard, then fuck you," and they'd be like, "Get away from me." It's like obviously Team Jacob up in here. So
Yeah, a lot of Team Jacob supporters in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
you gotta say it as redneck as possible too. So
Well, that's just speaking their language. They got to make it so they can understand it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you ain't Team Eddard, then fuck you. Uh all right, next up we have the hedgehog. Yeah, the little hedgehog, collects rings, eats chili dogs, hedgehog. And it is the Baron of fourth grade classes.
Um, I've got the goldfish, and the goldfish for me is what?
Hmm?
Huh?
Ah,
What was it? What were we talking about? What?
goldfish.
Huh? A what? Goldfish have terrible memories. Remember, they forget every 5 seconds. Come on.
So that's your royal name for it is forgets every 5 seconds.
What? What were we talking about?
Oh yeah. So the next one that I have is it's a duck, little old jolly duck. And the duck now royally be known as the flirtatious bread benefactor.
It's a great duck name.
It is.
Um, I gotta channel Charles Barkley on this one. Terrible, terrible. I got the armadillo. Armadillo will be known as Sir Turtle Rat.
Sir Turtle Rat. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so I think we got one more each for the people, right?
I got three.
You got three?
Yeah, I've been adding as I go here.
Oh, you've been adding them as you go. Okay, so I'm just going to come up with animal names then because this is fun. Let's see.
I
Animals.
like it. I like
Let's
it.
see. If I find one I don't know what the fuck it is on National Geographic Kids. Okay, let's go with. Oh, screw you. Let's go with mammals. Okay. Let's see here. Uh what? This is not a thing. Okay, apparently it's a thing. It's called an I, like AYE dash AYE.
Okay.
The hell? It's an omnivore. It lives for 20 years.
Good for it.
Has freaky. Oh, that's it. Yep. It's got freaky fingers, apparently. Um, they rarely descend from tree dot digs to the forest floor.
Beavers have freaky fingers too. Nobody talks about that, but go ahead.
Yeah. And I guess it's used, for hunting and scooping things, the freaky fingers. So,
And
yeah,
terrifying children in the forest. You got a lot of uses for them.
yeah. Um, so yeah, the II's official royal name shall now be known as inappropriate fingers. Got a bitch bojangles.
I always got the fumble fungus. I'm gonna keep adding these because they're coming to me as we go here. Obviously the owl's royal name. I'm so fucking stupid. The owl is just gonna be known as Night Hooters.
Somebody rubs on a magic lamp, a genie comes out, and all of the owls now have to talk like Batman, you know, and it's just like, who are you? I am the Night Hooters. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh my god. What? No. That can't be a Okay, I have to see if this is a real animal.
I'll give you another one while we're going here.
Yeah.
The dragon, his royal name, Sir Bob Marley.
One love. Oh yeah. Okay, so I found a kinkajou. I said I was gonna do ones that I was like, what the fuck is that? And so if you're as confused as I am, well, so kinkajous appear to be a cross between a monkey and a bear, so that's terrifying, but they're actually a member of the raccoon family. Um, so yeah, the kinkajou's royal name is Kinkajou.
I've got the donkey, and the donkey's got two options here, depending on which one you're in the mood for. The donkey can either be Lord Astasm or Lord Assquake.
Yes.
Make that
Okay.
ass quick.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is the last one because now
Yeah,
it's
I got
just
one
getting
left.
well, oh no, I got one after this, but this is my last random one.
Yeah,
So this is a caracal. Caracals are like cats. They're like wild fucking cats.
like
Eh,
jungle cats.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so the caracal, the jungle cat, if you will, they're small wild cats. Its official royal name shall forever be known as Sir.
Yeah,
And I got one more after yours.
yeah. My last one we alluded to earlier in the show. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from Mr. Harlow's song, I think Lord Farquaad is the bad guy in Shrek, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I believe. So I've got the seal, and the seal's new official royal name is going to be Lord Farquaad.
Fucking nice. Fucking nice. All right, the last knighting, if you will, across the animal kingdom, we got a possum.
Hell yes.
We got a possum, and it shall forever have the royal moniker of benevolent road feast.
That's from
Benevolent,
Alabama.
benevolent road feast. All right, and so with that, let's go ahead and call this one another week in the books for Floral Foolishness,
Sports.
where it's always island time. We thank you for joining us and hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. As always, I'm Mike Stoats, joined by Jeremy Phelps, the Dragon Wrangler. And as always, you stay tropical, Paulet Island, Antarctica.